Welcome to the video, and if I didn't need any more junk, I got it. So someone on Facebook Marketplace giving away free household items outside their house, and I seen electrical appliances in the photos, so I went straight there, and we will come back to that. But what else did I get? I got some jelly things, some dinosaur stickers. Keep on smiling and carrying on. It's brand new, still in the bloody packaging. Lots of books, children books. My boy will love me reading those to him. And what else we got? Bit of a nice picture frame. An Elmo with a guitar, buddy. A bit of a little frame. Check out the CD. Hard-ons, Dick Cheese. Oh my fucking god. Bit of clock radio, or maybe just a clock, some toy cars, and a whole lot of jars. What else did we get? Because we've got some good stuff. Now, I laughed at this because I honestly thought I put a cassette deck, like just a twin cassette deck in my ute. I got home, I put a bloody 3-in-1. Can you believe it? It's just a light little small one. The brand of it, Crown. So it's just junk, really junk. It will be a very low quality. It's very light, so I doubt the circuitry is of any good components. But it's still neat nonetheless, because it's sort of a very 80s, early 90s. Crown, I don't know, I'll have to Google it, see if I can find anything about it. But I've got a little record player up in here, and it all looks pretty complete. The tone arm's all there. There's even a stylus in the cartridge, I think. Maybe I haven't looked at it under light, but it looks pretty. Well, this is. Oh. So this was sitting outside her house, like on a shelf in the rain. As you can see, there's like a lot of water staining on the bottom there. So whether it goes or not, I'm really not sure. What else we get? We got a Pioneer PL Z82 automatic turntable. Oh, look at this. Reasonably complete, you know. I've got the slip mat. I've got, well, that's he's looking at. Look at this, there's a belt even. Oh my goodness. And there's a cartridge, whether there's a stylus in that cartridge or not, unsure, but we can certainly test, fix, repair, bang on. Alright, which one am I going to do first? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I guess you know which one it's going to be because it's the name of the video. Alright, well, we'll give it a clean off, open it up, maybe test the power supply, give it a visual check, pull the capacitors out of it, the drive capacitors off the amplifier, check the farad on those on the capacitor, on the digitalized multimeter. No, how am I kidding? We'll just plug it in, eh? See if it goes. Alright, well, I've got a power supply here that comes from a input, a multiple plug outlet, a multiple port outlet device, a multiple plug outlet device, a bloody 4-way plug box. I've got a 10 amp breaker on them, that's the reason why, 2400 watts max they usually say on them, and they've got a little push button. That's a 10 amp fuse, so if I'm drawing more than 10 amps, then I know that will pop. I've then got here a 30 milliamp RCD, a residual current device. RCDs are in a circuit to save lives, so if they measure any earth leakage, they will go bang within 30 milliseconds or quite quickly. And that stops you from getting the potential 10 amp current electrocution shock thing that the breaker would have to be over to break. You know what I mean? So you can potentially get 10 amps of electrocution before the breaker goes. So that's why I put this in, because this goes within a 30 milliamp indifference of you getting a shock. Look up RCDs if you need to learn how to use it. Let's just plug this bad boy in here and see if she lights up. Oh, first problem, got the old plug that, oh mate, I'm sure I've got to cut one of these. Oh, what have I done? Oh, it's still an issue, isn't it? Yes. but Jesus Christ. Sometimes I turn the knives on before I fix things. And it can be hazardous. Very, very hazardous. So this one. I am so confused. What an array. So if we hit test on here, no, reset, so you push reset, power should flow, you hit test, and what this will do is simulate slight earth leakage, phase to earth leakage, and then this should pop, and there's a toroid or a toroid in there, basically like a coil, a magnetic coil, and that's what measures the indifference, the imbalance, and goes pop. Circuit should be dead. Right, let's plug this fucker in. Not immediately seeing any lights. Where's the power button? It's got no buttons. It's literally got stereo, mono, FM, midwave, shortwave, a volume knob that's missing. Is that got a clicker at the bottom of it? I can't turn it. Oh, here, wait, we've got function, phono, tape, radio. There's no lights at all. Let's go phono, and let's pull the stylus out and see if turnitin happens. Nothing happens. Is it completely dead? Well, I could hear that. What? This is a junk input, by the way. Let's throw that one away. There's water in there. Oh yeah, so I got this thing from outside in the rain. Alright, let's disassemble stuff. Oh, look at that. There is no circuitry to this thing whatsoever. So inside this box of nothingness, we've got... Oh, let me just gain some thoughts here. So this is how cheap and junk it is really, I guess. I've got to remove PCB boards to get the fuse out. The fuse is soldered in and it's on, I believe, the other side. I can see it written there, fuse, 630 milliamps. I can see the soldered joints, but it's just not how decent stereo gear is made. Can date it though, 1987, February 20th. I don't know. What? Oh, I see. Would you believe it? This is how cheap and junk it is. There's the PCB board for the power supply. on it you can see where the fuse holder would be if it was a decent enough stereo for them to actually fork out the money to put a fuse holder in. No, instead, there's the two little holes there. That is a piece of fuse wire soldered in place. So if the fuse breaks, you've got to unsolder a piece of fuse wire and put a new piece of fuse wire in. Good grief. But that fuse wire doesn't look broken, so it should have been powered up. Maybe I'll try, put it back together, drying the plug out now. There was definitely some moisture in there, so that wasn't great. So I'll rethink my power supply option because that was just, shoot. I'm just gonna place it under the old heat pump for a bit, give it a bit of a blasting, get that cord nice and dry. Plug it in, hit the reset button on the LCD. Oh my god, look at that. There we go, that's trying to turn straight away. Stop. What are you trying to do? I can hear it getting power. I don't know why. Obviously a fault in there somewhere, because that's just got power going to it constantly. There's the function button, cheap and nasty. I would say tape would normally be off position in a lot of these sort of cheaper units that don't have an on-off switch. Normally your cassette tape is where your off is. Oh mate, how about that? Let's find a tuning knob for it. See if we can turn it off first. As you can see, I've taken the deck off, or the disc off for the LP player, and that motor's just spinning, just handy as. Doesn't want to stop. I've tried moving the tone arm a couple of times, I've tried moving some mechanism around to see if it'll auto stop, but nope. Ugh. It's the worst tuning mechanism I've ever felt. But it is tuning, so it's... Well, both channels are working. They're around the wrong way, but... They're around the wrong way, and I haven't actually hooked the speakers out of phase. I've hooked left to that side, right to that side. What the fuck? Oh my god. Here's actually what I think is going on. I've just turned the volume up and noticed that I've got like no power on the left channel. And then I just gave that a wiggle. So that's a bit funny. And that's the selector switch for tape radio phono. Alright, we'll flick it over to tape. Got a couple old cassettes here. Seems to be. Have a look at the pinch roller down there. Ooh, a little bit dirty. It's definitely been used. The head actually looks in good condition though. Sometimes they're covered in corrosion, rust, real yuck shit. And that one doesn't look too bad at all. Oh, listen to that. My god. I can hear it sometimes. So we need to go inside it, we need to clean that function switch. Hopefully that'll bring it back, and by clean I just mean like spray some contact cleaner in there, have a look at the solder joints on it, make sure it's not too bad a condition. Because feel like that cassette deck actually probably doesn't work too bad. It's got a nice looking head on it, and by nice I just mean it's not all scarred up like some of them you see. The head's all kind of corroded, rusty, and just turned to shit. Whereas that one's head in there looks dusty, dirty for sure, but not too bad. Pinch roll I could use a clean. The mechanism though all feels reasonably sort of tight. Nothing feels too funny about it. So the actual, I think you call it the, what do you call it? The train or the track or the, it's the actual deck, the mechanism where the bloody tape actually goes in. It's got a funny name. But all that feels of not bad quality. Like Crown wouldn't have made that. They would have got that off some sort of Chinese manufacturer, Japanese manufacturer, and used it inside their unit. So whoever they've got the cassette deck off, it's the generic one out of, I don't know, something, but it's not, doesn't feel too bad yet. So I'll give that definitely a bit of attention. I'd rather get the deck going than the record player, to be fair, because the deck looks like, you know, it could be alright. The vinyl stage though, the phono stage, I mean, look at the tone arm, it'll just be all junk. And the fact that motor's just not turning off, that could be anywhere in the auto. Is it even automatic? It probably isn't. It's not automatic. What am I talking about? I'll have to figure out where that is. Maybe I could even just put my own button in there, start, stop, and that'll switch that on and off. I don't know. We'll see. Just flipped it over to have a look at this faulty switch here, and I noticed that part of the PC board, it's just a little board, runs off over here to our transformer with our hoary piece of bloody fuse wire soldered in on the board. But this little board, I imagine, is actually out of probably a portable system, like a ghetto blaster of some sort, because on the board we've got bat, and the bat wires are soldered and run over to the transformer. So I wonder how much voltage is actually on there, because I imagine this system, or not this system, but this board and probably this cassette deck and all that came out on a portable unit, and they've just chucked it in this as a different model for their lineup. Alright, so there's our little board. Not a lot to it, but that there would be our amplification chip, I would imagine. It's got some numbers on it. I'll give them a Google and see what comes up, because it's a decent sized little board. I mean, it's got, the back of it is where thermal paste would normally be applied, and you'd have it up against a heatsink. So, you know, that would be when it would be getting a good amount of power and actually driven quite well. But I guess in this instance where it's been applied here, it's only got a small power supply. You know, here's the power supply bloody wires to it here. So at 15 volts, like we measured before, I imagine it's not getting any current at all. Yeah, so I'll have a Google of those numbers though, because it might actually be sort of, you know, a good like 20 watt into a couple of channels chip, but driven at this voltage, only 10 watts or 5 watts or 2 watts. Okay, well, that was pretty easy to find. Found a PDF file for it. It is a Panasonic power amplifier chip at 9 volts with a 4 ohm output, or a 4 ohm load, 4 ohm speakers basically, 2.1 watts. Yeah boy, should be a powerful 2.1 watts at 9 volts. So this has got 15 volts coming out of it. Like I said before, it would run on a lower voltage than that considerably. Here it goes further on to say, stereo operation is enabled due to incorporating 2 amplifiers on one chip. It is most suitably used for battery operated sets such as radio cassette recorders, because quiescent something circuit current is small comparing to other current power amplifiers. Now that I've got the board for the volume and balance and all that out, I've got the function selector switch there, and I just douse some electrical contact cleaner into that. Hopefully that sort of cleans up any dust or corrosion that might be in there. Alright, I've just plugged it back in, flick it across to radio. Oh, both speakers straight away. Give it a wiggle. That seems to have actually fixed that switch straight away, that function switch, so that's great news. I can put that back in. Noticed, so that cassette deck not working quite right, I just noticed, here's our wire coming off the head, and it's got sort of several wires coming out of its insulated self. One of them down there, that white one, not soldered to the board, so I've just got my soldering iron heating up now. Flip this over. solder that bad boy down. Nice. That was a very easy fix. Let's clean that head, because that is disgusting. Yeah, boy. How good. Alright, well there it is, all working pretty sweet. The record player's spinning around in circles. I've got the motor switched up to that there. Cassette deck is working sweet, and radio. All working sweet, so I'll put the cover back on it now, give it a good clean up, and tuck this bad boy away, I think. Actually quite impressed with the cassette stage of this thing. It actually seems to play really well. The wow and flutter is real minimal. It seems to track real well, like you can't hear the speakers losing sort of frequencies, like basically as your tape tracks along the head, as that ribbon sometimes variation sort of slides left to right, you will hear side to side. It will be present through the speakers, and I'm not getting that. It actually is real good. It almost makes me wonder if I should be pulling the cassette mechanism out of this and putting it in something else, or using it for parts anyway. As with the 2-watt little Panasonic amp board, maybe that could be reused, because the rest of this thing's just junk.